Buenas noches? I don't know what aura it is for you. Yeah, it's really late. Alright, so Kratos off and running. LarviStar LarviStar didn't go on time, but Kratos is gonna give us a preview of what LarviStar is gonna be doing. We're gonna stomp some enemies, get that kill count up, get some corner boosts. Jumping into the corners of blocks pushes Mario out of the blocks. LarviStar saying he's having some troubles. But is he going here? Kind of had a feeling this would happen. Not gonna lie. But anyway, a nice level. Did Kratos get the 5? Almost. If you get enough corner boosts, you can get a 345, as well as a super jump in the middle of the level where you release A at the top of your jump. LarviStar is just about ready to go, so bit of a minute 45 lead for Master Kratos with a flawless start to his run. He's got a really high kill count, which is really good because you want to have 99 before the final stage, and that's important because getting your 100th kill gives you a free star, and you want it in the final stage to get a free star from the top of the ceiling, which allows you to plow through like the set of mini bosses before the final boss. It only saves like a second and a half, but optimally you don't lose any time taking out enemies. Half the time it saves time because of lag. Lag reduction is a big part of this run, and a lot of times killing enemies takes a sprite off the screen, and that... Oh no! LarviStar taking a death to Goomba at the end of intro. That's a tricky part of the intro section. You have to do kind of a semi-precise full jump. You just hold the button and it'll let you get over the Goomba. But if you try to do a super jump, or if you do less than a full jump, the Goomba will actually kill you. So that's a huge advantage for Kratos, who's off to a flawless tree zone. Dangerous level on the right side of your screen. LarviStar gets the star, the hidden star, as Kratos works his way through the scariest part of the... Well, I don't know why we're using... Okay, it's because now it's syncing up. Alright. Oh no! LarviStar loses his star, becomes just Larvi instead of LarviStar, and takes a second death. A little shaken up. But he does a Luckman star grab, which doesn't lose much time, but the death is what loses a lot of time. Meanwhile, this is a perfect place for Kratos to be stopped on the right, because he's at one of the most dangerous parts of the run. Now, he doesn't know, he doesn't watch the races, he doesn't know how big of a lead he has. But if he doesn't get through tree 4 here, it could be really hard on him. Although with his mentality, I feel like, you know, he knows how to back everything up. He's actually probably one of the best 2 randomizer players. He's got a lot of good skill in this game. Best 3, I'll say. I'm not even close to that, but he's very good at that. But there's a power-up grab here that's really tricky, and we see a lot of runners die, and there's also some laggy platforming at the end of this stage after this section. Two very scary places where a lot of people die, and dying in this stage is very, very, very bad. Because if you die, then you gotta do the whole level over again, unless you get the checkpoint bell, which most runners don't get it. Because you have to take damage to do the power-up grab. And... perfect sync. Uh-oh, Kratos is having some issues, but he makes it through. That cliffhanger was totally worth it. Very scary jumps here, and he makes it. So this is in real time now. Kratos indeed has a 2-stage lead. Shoutouts to Maid Walk Herd for the best sync job ever done. Excuse me. So, you saw LarviStar on the left there, duck. And the reason you do the duck slide there, or the crouch slide, is because by sliding and ducking, you can like maintain a decent amount of speed, but the main thing you want to do with the duck is you despawn a fly that's like way above you. There's 2 of them, but you can despawn one, and it reduces like 1.5 seconds worth of lag. So even though sliding loses some speed, the lag reduction doesn't just make up for it, it makes that stage. If you do that stage flawlessly with and without the lag reduction, you'll notice a huge difference in time. Usually it's around 1.5 seconds. LarviStar takes the early exit there on the power-up grab section, and he'll make it through. As Kratos takes the top exit in the bubble stage, also known as Hippo. And it's something you have to do. Let me switch the audio back to Kratos here if it lets me. Since he's in the lead definitively for now. No lead is safe. We saw Kratos actually in his last race have a lead about the same size, and he lost it to one mistake in the castle. And that's just an example of where things can go wrong in this game. They're really only one stage apart. But you have to take the top exit, which is why you need the bubble in this stage. And you want to run into the bubble when you jump into it, because you want to have running speed. If you don't have running speed, you lose at least, I think it's like 20 seconds. There we go. Nice little audio switch. We gotta get the moon song in here, and the song coming up, the star song. But you need to take the top exit in LarviStar stage because it takes you to Space Zone, which is one of the 6 golden coin zones. If you take the bottom exit, it'll kick you back out to the map, over by Macro Zone, which is the next zone that we do in this route. It's the star song, SpeedGaming star song. It's the star song, Master Kratos star song. It's everybody's star song. One thing I should point out on LarviStar's side that I didn't mention during when Kratos was there is the goal of Space 1 is to walk as much as possible, because walking in Space 1, it's just a space mechanics basically. Walking in Space 1 saves frames over floating, but it adds up to quite a bit. I think it's between 1/2 second and a full second, depending on how well you do it versus how poorly you do it. But if you don't slow down at all and just like do like a bunch of big floaty jumps, you'd think, oh, I went the same speed, but not in this game. In that particular stage, walking actually is faster, like walking on the ground. So you can tell by the way they do their walk, they're a speedrunner, man. No time to talk. I wish Deer were here to hear that one. But yeah, not much to say for this particular stage here. It's an auto-scroller, but the boss is the boss is one of the biggest run killers. And a death to this boss could change everything. the goal in this boss fight coming up to Tanga is to if you have Fire Flower, right? You can take 2 fireballs per 1 stomp. Normally it's 3 stomps to kill him, but you can get 2 fireballs in and 2 stomps, or even better, 4 fireballs in 1 stomp. Let's see what he does. Kratos gets a clean 2 stomp. And when I say clean, I mean that he kept his Super Mario, or his mushroom, which is really big for the next stage, so he doesn't have to grab a slower, dangerous, potentially backup power-up. So Kratos is in great shape. That's the 2 cycle, that's the standard strat, although you can get a 1 cycle. Technically that's the standard strat, but in a race, a 2 cycle is absolutely fine. The way he did it, it's really good. It's essentially preferred because the 1 cycle has a big risk of stunning Tanga, because you can only shoot him with fireballs during a specific interval, or it'll get stunned for 4 seconds. That's what we would call a 104 frame shot, but it loses about 255 frames at the very least. Alright, let's see how LarviStar does. LarviStar is one of the few people that have ever gotten 0 cycle, where you shoot him 6 fireballs, accounting for all 3 of your stomps. And oh my goodness! LarviStar just got a Super Eagle. Or was that an Albatross? What was that? Was that no, that was a Super Eagle. That's not the 0 cycle. He did stomp him once, but what he did was he got the earliest frame it's frame perfect. He got a frame perfect stomp onto Tanga, so he was able to keep his Fire Flower. And that once will actually save time, but thanks to actually LarviStar's lag reduction, there's a lag reduction you can do in Macro 1 that saves just as much time. But that was called a Super Eagle on LarviStar's side. It's pretty much the fastest RTA strat you can do. I wouldn't say consistently even. But Kratos with a very clean Macro 1. Some very tricky platforming, some lag reductions with some ants, power-up grab, but LarviStar doesn't have to do it, because he's got a Fire Flower. But Kratos, the main thing was Kratos kept his Fire Flower that he got in this midsection that LarviStar didn't need to grab, and used it to break some blocks to enter a secret pipe, there's a way to break both the blocks at the same jump. It doesn't save that much time, it's only like half a second, but Kratos had basically the next best thing. LarviStar getting the 2-block break. So LarviStar with 2 incredible back-to-back levels. And look at this, they're still in the same stage, albeit it's an auto-scroller. But LarviStar pulling off, you gotta give him some credit. He pulled off a Super Eagle to Tanga and breaking and entering back-to-back. That's probably the best 2 levels in a row that has been seen in this race so far. Alright, so Kratos is in some tight platforming here in Macro Zone 4. And he does a really good job with the hardest section, known as the books. And he's getting a lot of kills, which is good for his kill count, as we explained earlier. For just tuning in, the goal is to have 99 after the 6th golden coin. And here comes the rat. And there goes the rat. Very clean. It's not easy to kill that dude very quickly, as was done. It's very dangerous because if you can only have 2 fireballs on the screen at the same time. But a very clean run from Kratos. I honestly can't think of... I mean, other than that section in Tree 4 where the most nerve-wracking section, which is understandable. The nerves... I mean, the main thing was he didn't die. And he got his Fire Flower there, but... Other than that, it's been extremely clean for Kratos. Little laggy there, but again, this is an experienced player who knows, alright, I missed the shot, that plant could kill me. I need to jump over him. Well, it wouldn't have killed him, but losing your Fire Flower is very bad in this section. LarviStar with an insanely good kill. And at a really good level. LarviStar's probably had the best 3 levels back to back to back that I've seen done in this tournament so far. Even his Space 1 was pretty good, if I remember correctly. LarviStar's putting on a show here after his shaky tree zone. But Kratos doing what he's got to do here. So swimming. Swimming in this game vertically is rhythmic. You don't mash, but you have to like press and release. Horizontally, there's no trick to it, but there is something that's kind of like RNG related because it's like a frame counter. If you have an even or odd frame, it makes a difference with your swim speed going to the right. If you get lucky, it's like a coin flip basically. You can get a fast swim, which saves. I don't know how much time it saves, but it adds up to like a couple seconds throughout the run. To a slow swim, which is the other alternative. Fortunately, swimming left doesn't. There's only one swim speed for swimming left. But the unfortunate side of that is there's only a few places in the game where you can, at least in this category, excuse me, where do you swim left. Kratos, going for the quick drops there, another mechanic. A lot of mechanics in this game. Back to back to back to back. If you walk off a ledge in a certain way, you can actually... You get a faster fall than normally, because Mario normally floats off of a ledge to varying degrees. I mean, there's vertical momentum stored in this game. It's pretty technical, actually. But the main thing is, if you walk off a ledge, Mario can get depending on the vertical momentum and stuff, he can get a quick kill. Or I'm sorry, I got distracted by chat. He can get a quick drop, and quick drops are fast. Although I think Kratos only got 1 of 2 there. It's not a huge deal, but in a speedrun, you know, every chunk of time matters. My personal best lost 0.3 to that stage, and I'm still salty about it. I'm not sure, Dad Infinitum. Deer told me that. That's not I'm quoting Deer. So LarviStar didn't get either fast fall, but he got probably the best, I guess, alternative, like turning around optimally. But if you compare that to the fastest you can do that section, you'll see a difference in the mechanics. But speaking of RNG, we were talking about swimming earlier. This boss fight is the only other major source of RNG in the game. Where the witch spawns is determined by RNG, and that's a 1 in 4 chance that she'll start on the right. And now it's a 3 in 4 chance she'll switch sides. And that's what she does. And there's a 3 in 4 chance individually that she'll switch again. So only a 1 miss. That's not a bad fight at all. That's a very good fight for Kratos. And the main thing was, he kept his power-up. You need that power-up for Turtle 1. If you lose that power-up, in this stage, you're going to have to do some major routing, which loses about 15 seconds. Which, at this point, it wouldn't have changed the race on its own, but... a very nice run from Kratos going. Pretty much what I expected from him. Very consistent. 26 pace. No major mistakes. Like riding a bike, as the legendary controller had once said. Alright, so LarviStar gets the left at the beginning, and you notice that a lot of these boss fights, it looks like Mario moves like instantly. That's not like the runners aren't timing that. You can buffer inputs by holding like directions or buttons going into fights. Like for example, on that fight, you hold left and A to get a buffer, and if she starts left, it's really nice because like you're guaranteed to stomp her like the earliest time that you can. It just works out really nicely. I don't know if it's the exact frame, but like it's. You know, it's fast. I'll just leave it at that. If she starts left and you buffer that. And with the bunny ears, you can actually hold A once you've already jumped, and Mario will continuously jump as soon as the frame he lands on the ground. So buffering inputs is something you can do in this game in many different ways, either during a cutscene or with the bunny ears. You're gonna see Kratos do that here. He's gonna do a jump here, and he's just holding A. He's just holding A. Just so he can get through there safely, although it was a little bit sketchy with that Koopa. Also, a new discovery, thanks to Controller Head, is that it turns out it's just as fast to float over water with the bunny ears as a fast swim. Yeah, I did some research myself, and it came out to be the same, pretty much. I personally don't do it in those sections because it disrupts the vertical momentum that you need for the fast falls, kind of. Well, the one section I do. But the main part where it's really nice is this last shaft here. You don't have to rely on RNG. See, Kratos is just trying to get a fast swim, which he does anyway, but sometimes you'll get unlucky there. But he got some good swims, so it doesn't matter. And he didn't have his bunny ears. Putting up a 496, very, very good for a race. As LarviStar, seemingly not that far behind, but this is a very long stage that he's got to finish to catch up. But still, very close race. I didn't expect it to be this close at this point, but like I said, LarviStar's played really well since his tree zone. Probably one of the better stretches I've seen, other than losing his fire. Although I don't think that mattered, actually, because, yeah, that didn't matter in that particular place. So that's a slow swim from Kratos. But see how he jumped out of the water? By jumping out of the water, he had another chance at slow or fast. I'm pretty sure he got fast the second time. I'm not sure. But, yeah, by touching the ground, or jumping out of the water, you reset the coin flip on whether or not you get fast or slow. That's why you see LarviStar there. He was touching down, although he didn't need to because he has the bunny ears. So one thing LarviStar did was he skipped that Gordo, so now he has a much faster start to his Turtle Zone 3. You'll see, instead of doing what Kratos did where he had to like hop around the block, LarviStar can just continuously spin jump over it. Nice little mechanic in this game. Oh no! LarviStar does lose a little bit of time though, but gets some good momentum there to get through. The weird thing is Mario's walk cycle in this game actually is like a variable, and sometimes it'll allow you to do some cool things like clip a ledge or something. It's hard to explain, but sometimes if you run off that ledge there... Oh no! LarviStar, very good backup though. As I say, he lost his Fire Flower, which would have made this next boss fight very slow. But he recovers very fast. Meanwhile, Kratos is plowing through Mario 1. He didn't do the super jump. There's a 2-frame super jump you could do at the beginning. And he doesn't do the one at the end either. Just playing it consistently. He does that in his runs too. And I don't blame him. 349 will get the job done. And LarviStar finishing up Turtle Zone 3. Just a single stage behind in a cutscene. But the stage that LarviStar is entering, that Master Kratos just did, has 2 super jumps. LarviStar gets the first one. That's a 2-frame window. You have to release A within 2 frames to get the maximum height that you can. It is a little bit faster than what Kratos did, but Kratos, probably knowing he's on a pretty good pace. He's flying, he's facing left. You can do that in this game and not slow down. It's swag. And he looked really cool doing it. Mario looking back on his past as he heads towards the future. Mario Zone 3. LarviStar getting both super jumps. I know he put a lot of practice into Mario Zone 1 today. And he gets a really good time for that stage. So, while Kratos is on a pacer of his own, LarviStar doing some work to make up this deficit. But Kratos not giving him too much. LarviStar's still pulling out a lot of good stages. You take away his tree zone, this has been a really good run for him. Definitely a 26er. But meanwhile, you see Kratos with 91 kills. Perfect. With 1 stage to go, he'll take out every single enemy that's in his way, reduce all the lag possible, and have 99 for the castle. Oh no, he froze. Alright. So, still a pretty decent gap between 2 runners. Nothing that can't be overcome between this boss fight and then the final boss level. LarviStar's set on kills as well. They'll both be fine with the kill count. And that's good. It makes the castle a lot easier because the faces you don't have to worry about dying to them. Because you can get a star unless you goof up the first guy. Alright. How does Kratos take on the 3 little piggies? He buffers inputs at the beginning, and he gets a good kill on the first piggy, and that's really all that matters. The other 2 piggies, unless you get some bad iframes or mash too late, or mash too early, I should say, because then the fireballs won't despawn right away. You'll be good. And Kratos pretty clean. Does what he has to do. And let's see what pace he's on. 23:55. A 68 would be... Wait, 55. Hold on, I can't do math. 55. This is not PB pace for Kratos. But it is 26 4x pace. And a 4x used to be around where his PB is. But recently he has beaten his PB. Down to a 38, which is not possible for him to achieve in this run. But he has a good chance to put up, as in his last race, a very top time in the tournament. LarviStar, meanwhile, reaching the pig. Let's see how he does. He's going to go with the other alternative fight. He's got a really fast mash. Kratos missing the 3-frame super jump, backing it up nicely, playing it safe. There is a jump you can do without slowing down there, but it is a 3-frame window. You can buffer the jump to make it up to 3 frames, I think, but I feel like it's a little more lenient. But if you do some vertical momentum manipulation to make Mario like float differently. Oh no! And Kratos trips up on some of the hitboxes in room 3, stumbling onto a platform instead of jumping off the one he wants to. So now Kratos doesn't watch the races. He probably doesn't know he's still in the lead. He might think he's in the lead, he might not. But he is still in the lead. But another death will put LarviStar in the lead, assuming LarviStar has a clean castle. I know he's had some issues with the castle in his past race. Doing a different strat there. He gets through. Let's see if he can get through this room. Good strat. Very good strat. That's actually the RTA strat he just did there, but it's consistent. He walks over the first 2 platforms there. LarviStar stumbling through the castle here, but it's pretty much Kratos up to... It's basically going to come down to if Kratos can finish this out. And if he can't, then LarviStar... Well, it's basically like Family Feud. Will the one family be able to finish off the board, or will the other family have a chance to steal? That's a good analogy. But it did turn out to be a pretty close race here. LarviStar definitely... Okay, Kratos does get the star grab. That's huge. Now he's pretty much set for the rest of the mini-boss. And he's going to have a power-up grab here. And that will get him, I believe, a 764 castle. The second phase of this Mario fight, you want to have a specific time on your clock when you enter it. He's gonna wait for a 4 here. It'll manipulate Wario's descent in the next room. As LarviStar also getting the star grab. Gonna be entering Wario right behind him. He jumps too early! Oh no! Does he back it up safely? He just barely gets the clip on the head there without sinking into his hitbox. Can he finish it out this time? LarviStar with a 764. 1, 2. Just gets the 3rd one in. Almost too low, like last time, but that is a victory for Master Kratos. And despite a rocky beginning, LarviStar right behind him. Gonna pull out 27 as well. Very good comeback for him. Just not enough, though. As Kratos makes his way through the fight. It was sketchy, but he made it. And at the end of the day, that's 2 very good times to put up in a race. Very good run for both players, especially after Tree Zone Larvi's was really good after Tree Zone. I mean, he lost a good solid minute in Tree Zone. He might have PB'd if it wasn't for Tree Zone. If I'm in maybe Castle, he probably could have gotten like a 2x or 3x. There was some sick gameplay in there. I do say so myself. But in Kratos, other than the Castle, very consistent run. But at the end of the day, you know, W's a W. With elimination on the line, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Check out the bracket. If I can. There it is. I believe. I don't know who. I don't think Kratos has an opponent yet. Let me see. Oh, he does. Master Kratos will be moving on into the lower bracket round 4 to face Dad Infinitum. So it will be Dad Infinitum versus Master Kratos. And you can bet your sweet Bippy that will be a race to remember. I can't think of two more like consistent runners that are good at rando, regular. Been playing for years, other than Deer, I would say. Deer's up there too. That will be a heck of a race between Kratos and Dad Infinitum. And unfortunately for LarviStar, this happens to be the last match. But the fun never ends, as they say, and it's true. A lot of good matches coming up. We got me versus Electman, Deer versus Ape, Chubalo versus, well, that hasn't yet to be determined. It could be Grimlock or MTH Sayer. And then, so soon there will be only 8 people left. Is that true? Well, Suffering Succotash. La 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 la. Let's see if we can get Master Kratos in for an interview. Let's see. Master Kratos, I've gotta send you a link. This is the commentary Discord. Let me send that to my friend. Don't think, I don't know about, someone told me LarviStar wasn't doing an interview. I don't know if that's true though. I'll send to both runners. So they can join if they please. Can't hear anything. Oh, it's because he's in Discord. Gotcha. That means
Hello?
Master Kratos is here.
Hello, Adam.
Yo, Kratos, how you doing?
Pretty good. You know, that ending was a bit tight for me. I normally don't go for that jump, so I was like a little bit. I'm not sure what happened there, but I tried my best to not let it get to me and go for a second attempt.
Yeah, that well, we all know room 3 can get to anybody. But the sketchy thing was I noticed that you on that second phase. I mean, obviously he fell to the ground, and then like that one of the, I think it was the second or third hit you hit him. I think it was the third hit. You hit him really low on his hitbox, which that's always scary. And on the third phase, I think the third hit you were really low on his hitbox. So I was thinking back to that other race. Where did you have any? Were you thinking about your previous castle in your race during that castle?
I don't think I was. I was more essentially when I went into the castle. All I was thinking was just telling myself, like, just make sure you do the full jumps at the end. Like, don't die to Wario. That's just the worst place to lose, especially phase 3. You know, just full jumps will save you. If you do 2 full jumps after the first hit, that's pretty much a guaranteed victory there. You'd like, just against Wario. Don't let him, don't try to save frames. Just get the clean kill. But yeah, I think I was hoping that I would do better. I know that practicing a castle sometimes isn't as realistic as a race castle, because when you're in a race, or like even in a PB, like your heart's racing, your hands are a little sweaty maybe, but like in practice you're very calm, so it's easy to focus. But so I was kind of nervous, but I wasn't really thinking too much about the previous castle, more so as me just like trying to make sure that I didn't make the same mistakes that I did with Wario specifically.
No, I get that. Yeah, like you were thinking to yourself, just learn from your lesson last time, but like it wasn't all like, I mean, obviously you had that room 3 death, and then in room phase 2 of Wario, it didn't quite go as you had planned. How did you like react to those mistakes, and how were you able to like recover? Because you didn't watch the race. You didn't know that you were still in the lead by about 20 seconds or so, 30 seconds at that point.
Yeah, by the time I was in the castle, I kind of like, at that point I wasn't really aware of the exact time difference, because I was like that. I was like, okay, so I feel like a clean castle would probably be good enough, but just that one platform, I don't know what happened. But yeah, you mentioned the second Wario fight, I believe. The second phase.
Second phase, yeah, where you're supposed to hit him up like high, but like he fell to the floor, which made it like a little bit scary. You had to jump on you backed it up well, but it's like always a little scary, like when you know what I'm saying, like where you had to jump on the pillar in the middle with the Mario statue to like get the final 2 hits in on phase 2.
Yeah. So for Wario Phase 2, I've actually, to be honest, I have been having trouble lately with. I need to work on that, because for some reason I'm not getting the jump timing anymore. Like I used to be able to just nail that jump strat, and now I'm sort of not sure about the timing. Like once he stops moving, like when I'm jumping, so I got a little tripped up. So once I took once I realized that hit was very very bad, I doubled up to the statue, and I think even the third jump the second jump off the statue was, for third hit, was pretty close as well. Like I didn't give it as much room as the second hit, so
yeah, I was a little bit worried about the third one on each of those 2 phases.
Yeah, and I think the hardest part is just like being able to. I believe you're jumping pretty much when he stops, but I don't know why I'm not getting that. I guess I have to look at it again. But I always say that the phase 2 fight is really difficult. I think it's the most difficult part of the entire fight, to be honest. Even more so than the third one.
Yeah, the second one tends to be the one that, like, we've seen people die there on PB pace before. I think I've died on that pace. I don't think I died. No, I've died on the third phase too. Because if you're small Mario and he gets away from you, and you try to stomp him quickly, he puts a fireball over his head. So like you can die pretty quickly in the third phase, but the second phase is where things can go awry as well. Like, because there's the ball on the ceiling, he flies around. Wario's kind of a nasty dude. I mean, even phase 1, if you don't get that first jump, which is kind of a tight jump, and get onto that thing, that chair, the throne, then he can run around and cause all kinds of havoc. But other than that, how did you feel about your run going into the castle? I mean, other than like the shaky tree 4 flower grab, which is only a few seconds. I mean, I didn't remember any. It was like very consistent. I mean, I think you were 4x pace into the castle.
Yeah, I was calculating about around a high 4x, maybe like a 4.7 or so, 4.8, but like ideally if there was no deaths involved. But I'd say everything after, like once I got to Tenga done, like I was really excited when I got the 2 cycle. Even though it wasn't a clean 2 cycle, I was really pumped. Like I just felt really pumped after that. So I definitely relaxed a lot once I got past Tree Zone, and especially to Tenga, because I could play comfortably going into Macro, and Pumpkin and Mario, Pumpkin and Turtle actually went pretty well, I think, and even Mario Zone as well. Like I made sure not to do anything dumb in the first 2 levels, because I know that going in small would have been going small into Mario 2 would not have been ideal and not worth losing time in a race over.
Right. I mean, it's just some lag frames in Mario 1. I mean, I think it's like a couple tenths between all the lag frames, and I agree with your strat there. I think I did that myself. Like like exactly, like why take a chance with something like that? I mean, that's the consistency that wins races. I mean, other than, like I said, other than your death in the castle, your second castle was good enough for I think a 47 that you had there, maybe 48 because you had a little struggle on the second phase, 48, 49.
Yeah, the second castle run definitely. I mean, it's weird because you end up. I feel like anybody who ends up having to play the castle more than once in a race and still pulls it off, and it's happened several times, as we've seen in this tournament. There's been several castle deaths, and people have still won even with dying, and it's always interesting to see. It's almost like the runner puts in essentially more effort than they actually had to, and they by playing the castle more than they needed to, and still end up pulling a victory, which is it's always exciting to see. But at the same time, it's also it's the castle definitely is like a mind game, because once you die, it definitely feels like a lot of your strength to really do well kind of gets pulled out of you, like once you've died, because now you're thinking, oh, I died in that spot, am I going to die there again? So it's like you have to kind of gather yourself up so that you don't make the same mistakes.
It's funny you mentioned that, like going hard, like after like a couple deaths, because that's LarviStar died to that Goomba at the end of intro, and he died to a frog in Tree 1. And after that, like he went hard. He got Super Eagle to Tanga. He had like a Eagle rat kill, like breaking and entering. Like he had like the most insane run from there all the way up until I forget he had like a he had a sloppy castle, I guess. The rest of his run was that good. Like, I mean, he was like at the you only died once, and he ended up finishing only like 20 seconds behind, despite him dying twice. Like, so like, you get that motivation, after a mistake. Sometimes it'll take it out of you, but you also, like you're like, screw it, I'm gonna show him what I'm made of now. Like, I'm not sure exactly how you feel about like what mentality. I mean, I guess in the castle it's different because you were showing them what you're made of, and then the castle took it away from you for, a death, and then but you finished strong. You did what you had to do. I guess there's the two sides of it.
Yeah, I'd say most of the game kind of went by quickly. I mean, I always, for anybody who hasn't like heard me say it before, I always say Pumpkin Zone is the best zone. It's kind of a joke with someone that I know, but it's kind of true for me. Like, I really love Pumpkin Zone, and Turtle Zone, despite Turtle 3 kind of being a pain, I do still enjoy the end game. For me, I think Tree Zone in a race setting is the most stressful outside of the castle, just because of how easy it is to lose a life in Treetop. And I played probably the worst Treetop that I think I've done ever, and I'm surprised that I didn't die, because it was so sloppy and having to run back and forth because I missed the block. Like, I didn't even jump at the fire block, and like just had to,
yeah,
had
I was
to run
really
back.
scared because I saw you overshot everything, and then you had to come back for it, or like, no, you had like a nerve shock for that section pretty much, but at least you didn't die. Like, that's the main thing, because if you died, I think it would have been like almost even. Well, no, you would have still had a lead actually at that point, depending on. But obviously you don't want to die because then you're small Mario. But
Yeah.
no, other than Treetop, I mean, that's one of the scariest points. I mean, I thought everything else you did was pretty much either like clean and consistent. I mean, big Mario to Tanga, 2-cycle, pretty much clean Macro 1. Pretty much all the big points you pretty much nailed, other than the castle. So, how do you feel about your consistency going forward?
I'm confident in my consistency. I just don't know why. Well, I guess I don't know why I can't seem to get myself to calm down enough. Like, I know the castle is nerve-wracking, so I expect that to happen. But at the same time, it's like that. Like, the one place that I died the first time, for example, like that jump shouldn't be difficult, but I can't seem to control like my nerves well enough when I know that I'm in the castle, even in a race setting. And so I feel like the consistency is there, but under pressure is when it really matters. And I think I'm still needing to work on being under pressure and getting through the castle successfully, because sometimes it just feels like every room is just such a challenge. Because the rest of the game doesn't have that same feeling. I don't know what it is. Like even if I'm in a difficult level, like say Turtle 3 or something, like I might feel it a little bit, especially with that initial first jump, because that spike is there. It's still, even though there's plenty of room, you still got to think about that spike. Just especially if you're going in small, like am I gonna hit that or not? But I'd say I'm relatively comfortable with consistency, other than maybe like Tree Zone, but I think everyone gets tripped up in Tree Zone. And then Tatanga, of course, I need to work on Tatanga.
Well, you got some time for sure. I mean, we're nearing. We've only have. We're basically nearing to where there's 8 people left. Basically, we have one match to determine who's that 8th person's gonna be. But you're actually gonna be going on to face Dad Infinitum in lowers round bracket 4. So how do you feel about facing Dad Infinitum with everything on the line for your next match? Any different mentality, or it seems like you pretty much keep the same mentality for your whole thing?
I'll probably go into the race feeling the same way I did. Dad Infinitum is extremely good runner. I have a lot of respect for him, and just for what he's done in the community and just being so helpful in other places, like with tournaments and with setting up bots and such. And so I've kind of had a chance to really spend time with him, especially in the race setting, because we used to do weeklies together quite a bit this year. So he's an opponent that I've faced quite a bit in weekly races and randomizers even. So he's a fun opponent to hang out with, especially in races where you get to use voice chat. So I'm looking forward to that race, because he's a really good runner, and definitely somebody that one of the 2 people I really wanted to face in the tournament. So I think it's going to be really exciting. And
I'm really excited for it. Not gonna lie. I mean, you guys have been like playing. You guys are like rando champions. You're like, I mean, freaking right. You guys go back so far, like with the races and stuff. Like, that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, we definitely raced a lot this year, and so I think this will be a fun matchup. And I think going into that race, like I'm gonna, like, regardless of what happens, and I've said this probably since the beginning of the tournament, like whatever happens, I'm happy to see people move forward. Like even if I don't, and like it's still fun that I was able to get at least I did the best I could, got as far as I could, but and we get into the point now where the skill is really going to separate runners, and like unless the castle really becomes a problem, I think you're going to start seeing a lot of just consistency play, like essentially running the game. And if you get a good castle, you're going to win that race, because ultimately the rest of the game is just all that skill and consistency that everyone has. And we're down to the last few runners, really. Like, so we're getting really up there.
Yeah, it's gonna get tight. This is when this is the playoffs essentially at this point, and yeah, pretty much. So and I'll say it for, I know Octavia's not here, but I'll say it for her. Join the SML2 Discord, speedrun.com/SML2. Join the Discord. We'd love to have you. Just chat, or we do races. It's a really good game to learn. And with that, congratulations to Kratos and LarviStar for putting up a great race. And any last comments, Kratos?
Yeah, I just like to say, so first of all, I'd like to say, GG, and to LarviStar as well for putting on a good show. And thank you for racing, and appreciate having strong opponents. You never know what's going to happen. So anybody you race, especially at this point, can turn the tables. You see, like, this happened in most of the races, the castle, some other zones, but mostly the castle, really turning the tide. And even with dying, you can still catch up depending on where the other player dies as well. And we haven't had too many deathless runs, so it's always interesting to see. But yeah, I really appreciate the race, and everybody who showed up tonight, and for Adam Ferrari for the excellent commentary as always. I always appreciate having the amazing people that we have in this community. And so thanks to everybody for hanging out, and like I hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you again in the next race.
Heck yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. GG, man. We'll see you in your next race, and thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. Cheers.
Have a good night.